submitter on the line. Kia ora, Prue, and welcome. Wonderful. We can see you and hear you. So welcome to the Select Committee Subcommittee today. Thank you very much for submitting in person. We've allocated 5 minutes to hear from you today, and I'll hand over to you and just give you a little indication when it's 4 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I can only see you, but hopefully you're not the only person on the committee.
My colleague Simeon Brown is also on the committee, so he should be visually with us shortly.
Very good. Tēnā koutou katoa. I'm a 78-year-old retired academic. I was a feminist economist and still am. Still have been writing and talking about all the issues as a feminist, a lesbian feminist, and an economist for many, many years. And I've been writing in the areas of lesbian and feminist women's rights. I'm opposed to this bill, and the first thing I'm opposed to is putting together sexual orientation with gender identity and expression in the same bill, as though, and exactly in the same clauses, as though they were on a par when they are totally different matters. And I regard that as a disaster. When the bill was being started on its journey in response to lesbian and gay community being disturbed by conversion therapy, it was actually covered just sexual orientation, and the gender expression identity was added in later. If it had remained only sexual orientation in the bill, I wouldn't be opposing it at all. Attempts to convert lesbians and gays into heterosexuality are totally undesirable and abusive, and I don't know of any lesbians or gay men who would be opposed to that. However, there is, as I understand it, very little of it going on in this country at the present, so I'm not at all sure that the bill is necessary from that point of view. I think that side of it has been used as a pretext, essentially, to bring in gender expression and gender identity, which is a quite different issue, and on which I'm very unhappy with the bill. Gender dysphoria is, of course, a real issue for many young people. I think it's a nonsense that you can be born in the wrong body. That is just a completely ontologically rubbish. But nevertheless, people can feel as though they were, and gender dysphoria is a real problem for kids, not a few kids, and an increasing number of kids, partly, I think, due to social contagion. It often goes along with other issues on puberty and adolescence, which cause real problems for many young people. And often changing gender seems a good solution to all their problems, when it very often will not in fact be so. And indeed, many young people who go along the track towards trying to change to the other sex, which is impossible, but at least changing their gender, and in some cases taking puberty blockers, and then worse, and even going on to more drastic action and surgery. Some of them realise that it did not solve their problems, and there are many now who are detransitioning and who are very sad that they were persuaded often by counsellors that their initial thoughts were the right ones. It usually isn't a solution, and there are estimates in the literature that up to 7 out of 10 or even more of people presenting with gender dysphoria do in fact grow out of it, and naturally, and or with the assistance of counselling, parental guidance, the watch and wait, watchful waiting as it's called, which is a very sensible approach to very many of those who present with some sort of gender dysphoria issues. And listening, talking, all that is very important stuff. Medication is very often not the answer. And The alternative of watchful waiting is practically discouraged by this bill. Counsellors and parents are scared by it that they cannot, they will not actually just be able to say what they feel, listen, talk, and so on. So, and as a lesbian, I'm highly concerned that society is again invisibilising lesbians, pushing young butch women into thinking that they would be better off as men, which indeed, of course, may be so in society, but it's a terrible mistake. And many of them who do start converting wish they hadn't at a later stage. Feminists and lesbians have sought to break down the sex roles that society anybody should be able to dress and not hop over it. Sex cannot be changed, and gender is socially constructed. So this bill is a mistake. Watch and wait should be not discouraged, and I would say suggest that the bill be dropped.
Thank you. That was just over 5 minutes, so we don't have time for questions. I do want to make one comment, which is that while I do respect obviously your opinions and your ability to bring your thoughts to the table, I personally do find it quite confusing myself that that you feel that you have a right to claim or determine your own identity, but that others who might have a different gender identity might not. To me, that is rather perplexing.
Sex and gender are different. You don't appear to understand that. They can certainly do any gender identity they like. They cannot swap over to the other sex, which is biological.
Taking the time to submit today. And
thank you, Prue, for your submission. And I just want to say thank you. I really appreciated listening to what you had to say.
Thank you.
We'll now be moving to our next submitter, Josie Bennett.